All right, welcome to the Bean Apple. I'm back with John and Jim. We're going to break down, first, a little tribute to, as you could see behind John, a little tribute to Julian Edelman and his news of retirement. We were going to talk about what the 49ers are doing. We kind of talked about Justin Fields last week, but what the 49ers do at number 3 is going to dictate a lot of what this draft is. After Trevor Lawrence, everybody said the draft starts at 2. We now know that is 99% sure Zach Wilson. So the draft now
Justin
realistically
Fields?
starts at 3. 1% Justin Fields, 99% Zach Wilson. So at 3, we talked about this with the rapid rise of Mac Jones, with the fall of Justin Fields. Which way is San Francisco leaning? So that's going to be a big topic that we're going to kind of break down. What makes sense, what doesn't make sense for San Francisco to do. And then we're going to talk about what the Patriots are doing at quarterback. I mean, that's the next big domino to fall, right? Every single quarterback in the world, I think even Steve Young and Joe Montana were tied to coming out of retirement, quarterbacking the Patriots there for a little while. It's been, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, every quarterback.
Boomer Esiason.
Every single quarterback that's in the draft has been linked to the Patriots as well. So, I mean, they're everywhere, right? So everybody wants to know, what are the Patriots doing? John's going to give us the best idea of what the Patriots should do at quarterback after we talk about what the 49ers are going to do and who's going to be left available at that point. So without further ado, let's have a show. So, John, take her away. Give us your little bit of heartfelt.
So first off, so when I heard the Patriots were releasing Julian Edelman, I'm like, okay, what's going on? So a couple days ago, what was it, last Thursday or Friday, he announced he wasn't playing next year. Then we hear that he failed his physical. So I don't know when that happened. I don't know how those chain of events went. My phone starts blowing up. Everybody's like, hey, why are the Patriots cutting Jules? There's more to it. Then I see that he's retiring after, 12 seasons. So I guess he didn't heal right. I guess he's taken enough hits. I mean, 12 seasons is a pretty long career if you really think about it, especially for a quarterback drafted in the 7th round in 2009 that instantly turned into a kick returner and punt returner. He was still doing that up until a couple years ago. Playing the slot, which I think Belichick has turned that position into a big-time gap filler for a lot of teams that want to run that offense. And that's going to be part of my the Patriots draft strategy for me anyways, especially now that we know – I mean, Jules wasn't coming back next year. Now we know he's not going to be back at all, so probably going to have to cover that. But back on Edelman, I mean, his stats are – the thing is, Jules was never a big touchdown guy. Jules was never a big touchdown guy. Even in college, he wasn't a big touchdown guy. He only passed for 30 touchdowns at Kent State. Isn't that insane? And for whatever reason, Belichick took him and said, you know what? I think we're going to do this with you. And as Belichick does with those late round picks sometimes, Brady, well, he didn't draft Brady. I can't give him that credit. But, I mean, the Patriots luck out once in a while. So, the last couple of years, last year he was hurt, only had 21 catches. He had 100 catches in 2019, 74 in 2018, missed the 2017 season. But before that, 98, 61, 92, 105. I mean, around 2013, he really came into his own. And I'll tell you what, it's just, I mean, he turned into Wes Welker too. When Wes Welker went to the Broncos, everyone was pissed. Don't worry about it. We got this guy right here to take his spot. And there he was. He came out, and, I mean, I'm not going to say he was better than Wes Welker. I'm not going to say he's tougher than Wes Welker because both of them were two tough SOBs. But I'll tell you what, Edelman made some of the greatest catches I've ever seen. The 28-3 game against Atlanta, I still don't know how he pulled that one in. So huge props to Julian Edelman. It's sad to watch, first Brady and Gronk go. You had Troy Brown years ago. Now you got Edelman leaving. It's just sad, just very sad. For those that follow the Patriots for the last 10 to 20 years, it really is.
Not for me. Not for me. It's just like
No.
the pieces just keep tumbling.
No, it's probably not for anybody because I mean, Edelman was just a guy. I mean, he was Tom Brady's binky. He really was. You know, if Tom Brady needed an out, there he was. I mean, whether it was 4 yards down the field or 40 yards down the field, he could roast you either way. And everybody knew that he was a 5-yard guy. Damn right, Tyler, Edelman forever. Sketchy? I'll tell you what, I think so. We'll see. I was thinking about that myself because San Francisco is going to be there because they missed the last one.
This is almost that pro day is basically put together for San Francisco. So
San Francisco, yes,
perfect opportunity for Bill to scoop in there and be like, hey, let's get some side deals going here and bam, nice and clear. But yeah, I mean, we should talk about what the 49ers are doing with that. What do you think? So we've broken this down over the last couple weeks about Mac Jones's rise with Justin Fields' fall. Trey Lance's name keeps getting thrown into the mix for some reason. A lot of indecision at number 3. And we've talked about, and we all know, John, what you feel should be the number 1, potentially. But what do you think is the 49ers at number 3? What is the right call? And what do they do?
So if you're asking me, Fields should be gone by 2. I get Trevor Lawrence. I get it. He has to go 1. Me personally, like I said, I thought it was neck and neck, and I've been saying this since the Jets had the number 1 pick. I thought Fields was definitely giving him a run for his money. But so if they go Zach Wilson at 2, which you're right, it's probably 99.9% sure. If San Francisco don't go Fields, what, they're going to go Mac Jones? I keep hearing these Trey Lance rumblings. So my thing is, how does Trey Lance rise above Justin Fields when he didn't play last year? Tell me how he's even a top 10 quarterback. Look at his numbers. I mean, you want to talk an all-run quarterback, that's who he is. But
17 career college games.
Yes, and he sat out last year. How is he rising above a guy who was in a national championship game and that toasted Clemson after probably not even remembering he toasted Clemson because he got hit so hard? So I'm not buying the Trey Lance stuff to San Francisco, even though a lot of people are talking about that. To me, the smart bet would be Fields. I mean, but the way Mac Jones has risen, I mean, numbers speak for themselves. Numbers speaks for themselves. And honestly, like I said, I think whoever goes to San Francisco has a leg up on Wilson and Trevor Lawrence because they're going to made teams. They are going to made teams. Well, I'm sorry, they're not going to made teams. They're just not. They have years. Of like rebuilding. I mean, the Jets are not even close, and neither are the Jags. You support the moves.
Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate the
support. We all do,
but...
Brandon. We all do. But, I got to say, I hope they don't take Fields because I'll tell you what, that man right there in the Patriots uniform, I'll take it any day of the week. In fact, he's standing behind me. We're standing back to back because I got his back. Justin Fields coming to New England. I hope to God San Francisco takes Mac Jones or Trey Lance. The Patriots move up to 4 and take Fields. Please do it. Please do it.
So you think?
I think it'd be crazy.
Do you think the numbers on Mac Jones? We broke this down a couple shows ago, right? Like the numbers are there, right? So it's not the most ridiculous thing to think that they would take him, right? The accuracy is outstanding. The pocket presence is outstanding. His QBR under pressure and not under pressure are 2 of the highest QBRs you can have in college. So it shows that he can handle pressure and he thrives in both situations. So if you take all of that and say, hey, we're going here, it wouldn't shock me. But at the same time, why do you go all the way up to 3 to get Mac Jones? That's the part I'm having a hard time making the connection between. Fields, I get it. But all of these experts, insiders are saying it's Mac Jones that they're taking. you shouldn't have to go to 3 to get Mac Jones. I mean, Fields to me is still the clear talent above Mac Jones all around. So what do you think? Like, Jim, which way do you think the 49ers are going?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they traded up there for a reason, right? They're not just doing it because they were looking for something to do. They're going up there, and you're assuming, yes, they're going after a quarterback. I mean, Jimmy G can't stay healthy, can't stay on the field. And, do they trade him? Does Belichick really want him? Do they move Jimmy G and take a quarterback? But I can't imagine that they traded to go get Lance. There's no way in my mind I think that's a possibility. You wouldn't mortgage all of that to get a guy that didn't play last year. No, I don't see it. I could see Mac Jones. Like you said, the numbers make sense. I know we've had some 49er fans on here that don't want to see him because he's not mobile. So yeah, Fields makes sense, right? He can move around. He can fill that role and take that away from John, and you'd have to change your picture there. But I definitely don't think it's Lance. I can't imagine it is. I think they go Fields. I think Fields makes sense. Fields makes sense.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. If it's me, and I've kind of I think for all the comments and everything that have taken place on our page on Justin Fields, if it's coming from the Bean Apple and it's negative on Justin Fields, it's coming from me. If it's positive, it's coming from John. So just so you guys know, I do like to trash on Justin Fields because I don't think he's better than Zach Wilson, and you guys know that I think Zach Wilson is going to be the top quarterback that comes out of here talent wise, but. I think you'd be a fool to not take Justin Fields number 3. As much as I say everything I say on him, and I don't believe in a lot of the stuff that he has, that is the perfect spot for him. And honestly, if Sketchy's still on here, if I'm the 49ers, I tell Bill I'll talk to you next year. I'm not giving you Jimmy G right now. He's going to sit behind Jimmy G. He's going to learn how to play football at an NFL level, and to be completely frank, if he sits behind Jimmy G for a year, steps in next year, the talent and athleticism of Justin Fields, I don't think I've ever bashed him on any of that. It's just his NFL ready skill set that he has today that I don't think is refined enough. And I know a lot of people argue with me on that, and that's fine. But if he sits behind Jimmy for a year and gets to step in to that offense with Debo, with Brandon Ayuk, with Kittle, with a nice running game, with Mozart, with a nice offensive line, with a defense, like John, you're absolutely right. He is in a golden opportunity. I mean, he's a 49er, and he's going to be panning for gold, and it's going to be coming up just buckets full of gold if it plays out that way. But I think you have to take him to match that style that they want. Mac Jones doesn't do that. Like, Mac Jones is perfect for New England. He's perfect for Bill Belichick. He's
not at 4. He's not
at 4. He's the closest thing to Tom Brady I think there is. But could we divert for a second and talk about this ridiculous comment right here? I don't even know. I
Tyler, I love it. You're crushing Joe's dreams right now.
It's one of the most asinine things I've ever read in my life. It's up
is
there.
Is that crushing your dreams? Is that crushing your dreams getting Lawrence?
I mean, I wouldn't be upset about that. I mean,
you sure?
I mean, I'd still take Trevor Lawrence, but I still think. Yeah.
He knows you're a Jets fan, Joe. Just remember that. He knows you're a Jets fan, Joe.
Where it blows Joe up is if the Jets go any other way than Wilson at 2. Right? Do they take Fields at 2? I get everyone's talking about Fields falling, but that's not the senior leadership in the Jets clubhouse over there. They're not the ones saying it.
No, right. Nobody knows what anybody's taking at any level.
That's right. That's right. So the Jets could come in and say, you know what? Fields. We'll take Fields. Wilson, whatever.
I think if they do.
God, I hope the Jets don't. That would crush me.
Fields can't. I don't think he's ready to just step in day one. And he's definitely not ready to step into the Jets day one.
But is anybody?
Oh, you think Wilson is? You think Wilson is more than Fields?
I think Wilson is just because he can read the field faster. Like Fields, I feel like he's going to sit back there and he's going to take a lot of hits if he was just to go in. I think Wilson is fast enough with his reads that he could do it. But I know this wasn't supposed to be a Zach Wilson show, but I was watching. So the what's it called? The quarterback. There's a guy on here, JT O'Sullivan on YouTube, that does a really good breakdown of all the quarterbacks. And he has like a 5-part series on all these quarterbacks. And I was watching his Zach Wilson ones, and very, very good. And it actually brought up a lot of things that I wasn't noticing. A lot of passes that were questionable that he dropped in that were nice. That, they ended up being completions, but they were risky. And then what I just didn't notice, and I don't think a lot of other people did, was how wide open another wide receiver was on the field. And there were some that just, nobody for 20 yards of a wide receiver, and he's going in to it was a perfectly passed touch ball, but into double coverage. That's risky, and you got a guy that's just standing there in the middle of the field with his arms up, like, hey, nothing, and he goes into double coverage.
So this is Wilson.
So yeah,
and this is the guy you want.
There's a lot of things I didn't see, but still, the passes were still great. It's just, going into double coverage, you're like, oh man, that guy was wide open. So it did make me question like how good his reads are. Maybe he progresses through his reads too fast, that he's overlooking certain things. I don't know, but yeah, that kind of makes me a little bit nervous on him. And if it's, I hope it's mistakes that could be cleaned up and coached out of him. But we're
couldn't you coach Fields to read quicker?
Oh, I don't know if you could coach somebody to read quicker. Can you?
Well, you're going to teach somebody to scan the field. This can't be a first time that a quarterback has come out with this type of criticism against him. You know what I mean? Because honestly, if all these guys come from really good programs, let's agree there. They all had pretty damn good offensive lines. So whoever goes to, especially the Jets, whoever goes to the Jets is going to have a much bigger learning curve, of course, than you would at 3 to San Francisco because the offensive line. So if you can't teach reads, whatever quarterback gets there is going to be done. I don't care if it's Trevor Lawrence, he's going to be done, because college reads and pro reads are two different things. So
agree.
I think it's a teachable attribute for a quarterback. It has to be, because not every quarterback comes out with it. Yeah. Again, I just think whoever goes to the Jags actually had a decent running game last year. So I don't know how their pass blocking is. I know their running game wasn't terrible last year by any means. From what I remember of the Jets, Frank Gore was carrying the ball, so let's take that with a grain of salt. He's 39 years old or whatever he is. But, they just didn't have the O-line. Now, Mekhi Becton came on towards the second half of the season, and he proved that he's, has the potential of being that beast over there. Yeah. But who else is going to pair with him? Who else is going to team with them? They're obviously going to go in the draft. It's a pretty deep draft for O-line. So,
so I'm wondering something else now, Joe. So with the Wilson stuff that I didn't see that you're talking about, and he was dropping it into double coverage, triple coverage. Which read was that? Was that his first read? And his second read was wide open? So he was just forcing it because he wasn't looking at 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, the ones that I saw, it didn't look like he was scanning. It looked like he was going with his first read and didn't progress through them. On those examples that he was highlighting, he was, it was his number one, and he keyed in on the number one, which you can't. But
he
it
probably has his eyes on him the whole time too.
Yeah, it happens a lot in the end. I know Sam Darnold did it all the time. I'd be like, dude, just pretend to look somewhere else for a second.
Look him off.
Just constant stare to the left, and the whole field just shifts. I'm just like, and then tries to force it in and makes a bad decision. You're like, dude, come on. Like, you've got to keep your eyes and shoulder. But I've also seen a lot of plays with Zach Wilson to where he will shift the linebacker with his eyes or with his shoulders, fake, and then drop one in when he moves the guy too. So those are the things that I found really nice, because I've watched Brady do that for 20 years, just shifting the defensive linemen around, shifting the safeties over, and opening up those holes. And I'm just like, man, I want that on the Jets. I want to see somebody shoulder pump somebody, move the defender out of the way, and have a wide open receiver.
Right.
You know,
right. Do what Mahomes does.
And
Right?
John, you know, like it's the most frustrating thing watching the Patriots year in and year out, because Brady he'll have players wide open that you can't even see a defender on the screen. That's how wide open they are. And you're like, how did that happen? And that's why, because Brady's manipulating the defense with his head, with his shoulders, you know, and then drops it in when he shifts the whole field, drops it in the other direction to somebody else. And it's just like, man, that's such a nice talent to have. And I've watched Zach Wilson do that. I haven't seen Fields do that. I don't know if you guys have, but I haven't seen Fields manipulate a defense. He drops back, he sees his read, he chucks it 60 yards downfield, and he's got Chris Olivo that can just catch everything. That dude, I can't believe he didn't come out. He would be a first-round pick without question. Such a good wide receiver, but I don't know. So off the Jets, which I mean, I love talking to the Jets, but let's talk about. So yes, it's Trevor Lawrence 1, Zach Wilson likely 2. So John, in your opinion, not your wants, but your opinion. So Jim's saying Fields is going 3. I also think the right call is Fields at 3. Do you think Fields at 3 is the right one, or do you think these experts are getting some kind of insight?
I think he's the right one as well. I mean, let's look at the team whoever goes at 3 goes to. Again, great team. Man, Fields sitting behind a pro Joe, just like you said. He's going to sit behind Jimmy G for a year. He doesn't have to start. There's no pressure for San Francisco to start this guy unless they start terribly because of quarterback play. I just don't see that happening.
Or he gets hurt.
Or he gets
hurt. One of the two.
He goes down in week 2.
Which is a huge I mean, it could happen. You know, it happened last year. So Fields is the right call here. I mean, shit, I think Fields would be the right call at 4 for Atlanta. I don't care what Matt Ryan just did with his contract.
Yeah.
But I mean, why everybody is all over Mac Jones now and Trey Lance up to 3 and you know, San Francisco supposedly said, oh yeah, we're trading up to 3 because of Trey Lance. I'm not buying Trey Lance. Trey Lance should be going in the 2nd round, probably behind the kid from Florida and possibly behind the kid from A&M. I mean, I just don't get this love for this guy. I mean, good quarterback. I mean, he's obviously better than me. So yeah, for anybody out there that says he's better than you, no shit. That's why I'm.
He's also 40 years younger than you.
Whoa. Wow,
easy.
30, man. 30. Come on. Trey Lance is 20, my friend. But anyways, to me, Fields is the right pick at 3. To me, Fields is the right pick at 2. But Fields at 3 to San Francisco would make sense.
Yeah.
Sit for a year. But I mean, you know, maybe you could say the same thing about Mac Jones, and you're right there. Accuracy, I just don't. I'm afraid of Bama quarterbacks. You guys know I love my SEC football. Yeah. Just afraid of their quarterbacks sometimes. So,
but see, if you're trading up, all of that, you're giving up the next 2 first-round picks. Jimmy G is not a running quarterback.
No.
So you're trading up to get basically a more accurate version of Jimmy Garoppolo, or are you trading up to get a dynamic quarterback in Fields?
So this is how I think about them trading up. You're only going to trade up that much for the person that you want. Do we all agree there?
Yes.
Yes.
Obviously, yeah.
Who is the definite person when they made that trade that they could get? The definite, 100%.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Because Fields is still questionable. Wilson's still, or they get Wilson and Fields equal. And they're like, you know what? It doesn't matter. But again, you're giving up a lot for somebody that you don't know who you're getting.
Yeah.
You know, look at all the big time trades that have gone through. It's been for quarterbacks that they wanted. So you're making a trade a month and a half prior to the draft for somebody that you're going to guess on? I don't think so, man.
So you don't think they had the
I don't
conversation
think so.
with the Jets already to understand which way they're going?
I don't think the Jets would tell them.
Or I don't know if the Jets know. So,
But I mean,
I
the
don't think
Jets
so.
obviously weren't going to trade their pick. So
I mean, if they called them up and said, "Hey, we want 2," and they say no, we're going with whoever, you don't think that's part of the conversation? You don't think they give them that?
I don't think
I
they would
don't.
tell
I don't
them.
think you can. I mean, I don't think you really.
I mean,
can. It's almost
you
like
can tell them who you
insider
like,
trading.
which way you're leaning. I'm not
But-
saying,
but
hey,
how does it benefit the Jets to do that?
Yeah. It doesn't benefit the Jets at all.
I don't know. I'm. That's
Yeah.
my question is,
Right.
do you think they do it?
I don't think
No,
so. I think they just sit there and let them stir. They'd be like, "Hey, you wonder who we're going to take.
You'll find out
and
in
you worry about
2.5 weeks.
Yeah, we know. You
we
sit
really
there and
like
think
this
about.
guard from Florida State, is what they're saying.
He's potentially the best.
He's
Best out of
potentially
this
the
whole
best
thing.
player
So-
there.
Oh man! So I got to look up this what Sketchy said here for the. I don't know what they're talking about here, but yeah, JT. I don't know who they talking about.
JT is amazing, especially when he mocked him.
I don't know, but I can't stand Dan Orlovsky. Like I think he's.
I kind of
he's
like him.
I can't stand
like
him.
him.
He drives me crazy because he and especially he's all on the you need to keep Sam Darnold and build around Sam Darnold and other just like dude you couldn't be the backup quarterback in Detroit and you're going to sit here and talk about what teams need to do. Like just shut up, man. Shut up. You're like this much better at analysis than I am just because you've actually been in the NFL. That's about it. Like you failed miserably in the NFL and the whole build around Sam. Like Sam's got 1 year left. You don't build around somebody who has 1 year left. You build around Zach Wilson that's got 4 years left, and you say thanks. But anyway, he drives. I can't stand him.
Well, Carolina sure went all in for him, didn't they?
They did, and that's fine. That's fine.
It's shocking, but
I'm all for it. Like, and I still wish him the best. I hope he has success down there. Oh, JT O'Sullivan, thank you.
Gotcha.
A couple videos. Oh, I'm gonna have to look that up. Yeah, he actually breaks it down and Sketch. Obviously, if you watch him, I can't remember what the show is. The Quarterback School, I think it is. But yeah, really good breakdowns, and he goes deep into them from different angles, different plays, different breakdowns. Really, really good, and he does it for all the guys coming out. So if you're interested in looking up at what he thinks of Fields and his breakdowns, like he's got a 5-part series on it. Really, really good. I believe it's called the Quarterback School, but I don't know. You could actually. Let me
So
see.
who's Sketchy a fan of? Who's his team?
I don't know. Quarterback
QB school.
Yeah, the QB school. Yep. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, I don't know Sketchy, so we'll see. Yeah, he's. I'm gonna have to watch that because I can't stand Dan Orlovsky either. So it sounds like we are quickly becoming best friends, and I did tweet him and ask him if he wants to come on the show. So Sketchy, if you know him, tell him to come on here and break down these quarterbacks for us as we lead up to the draft and do a little bit of charity work.
Yeah.
Come down to our level and help us get up to his level. So 49ers fan. Yeah, perfect 49ers. Hey, yeah, so for your
what do you think, Sketchy?
So he says
What do
he's
you want him to take?
dreading taking Mac Jones.
So
Right,
I'm
he wants
assuming
a
Fields,
runner.
then.
He wants
I'm
a
assuming
mover.
Fields.
he's got to want Fields, right? So
You
Sketchy,
have
as you're typing this, please make sure you come on draft night because we're gonna be live on the show and bring some people on. So if you're a good 49ers fan, you got some good depth of knowledge on the team, and you want to come on the show and you actually stick around for a few weeks leading up to it, let us know and we'll bring you on the show. You can break down the 49ers pick as they're up live and we'll go from there. But stick
Good
around.
deal.
Obviously,
Good deal. Yeah.
subscribe, come back every week, talk to us, and we'll bring you on the show. So, all right. So as he's writing that, Alex, I did like that Panthers tweet. Did you guys see that for the Sam, they used his out indefinitely with mono graphic
Really?
They used that, but did out of New York indefinitely.
Yes.
And then morphed him into a Carolina uniform. It was pretty good. Even from my standpoint, I was like, all right, that's good. It stings a little bit, but well done. Bravo. So
yeah, man, he had a big party. You saw that? He had the Carolina colors in his condo or apartment, whatever the hell he lives in.
Yeah.
And he seemed pretty excited. I mean, happy to get out of town.
Wouldn't you if you were the quarterback of the Jets?
Yes.
All I know is the girl that he walked in with better have been the one that gave him mono and cost him most of that season. If not, there's no excuse. No excuse for it.
Right. You think he was faking the mono? Was he faking mono? He didn't want to be on the field.
Yeah, that's
Wouldn't
a hard
you,
thing.
Jim, if you were quarterback of the Jets?
I laid it right up there for you.
No. Let's see. Sketchy. Assuming Fields, but thinking Trey Lance could be the Kyle pick.
There's a lot of talk of that. I just don't know how he's climbed without playing a year.
Yeah, but you think they traded all the way up to get Lance? Like we were saying, you wouldn't need to be 3 for that. So why go all the way up to 3 to get him? It does.
I don't know.
Because you're trading for who you want. That's right. Kind of what I'm getting at.
I guess.
You're trading for who you want.
If you're convinced that's your guy and that's the guy that's going to lead you for the next 20 years, what's the next 2 first-round
So
picks?
that means then Fields drops. Then Fields isn't going to Atlanta. Where does he go? Does he fall all the way to New England? New England trades up to get him?
I think if Fields starts falling, somebody's got to come up to get him.
Look, there's Denver. There's New England. There's Chicago. I think Chicago has the draft capital to do it. What are they picking for the first time since the Khalil Mack trade, right? They finally have a first-round pick.
I think so, yeah.
They just don't have the I guess they do have the draft capital. They could trade a couple future ones, but I just don't know. It's so hard. All we're going to do is guess. But
it's good to have a 49ers insider here in Sketchy. I wasn't tracking all that. Well, of course, I don't follow the 49ers that closely either. So, that's some good stuff there.
But is he also saying that? Is he also saying that to get some trades at 4? They said they were willing to trade at 4. If I was the Falcons, I'd never talk again. I'd never let the owner on the field. The owner has ruined that team, even though he is a good owner. He's not afraid to spend money, nothing like that.
Yeah.
But boy, he cost him a lot. But anyways,
that does throw a wrench into everything. If Lance fits what they want to do that closely, yes, I don't think you need to trade up that high. But if that's your guy and you want to make sure that you get him, and you're 90%. 100% sure that Trey Lance is not going 1 or 2, which I can't see that happening. 3 is as far as you need to go to make sure you get him. So
very true, very true, brother.
It definitely is. It definitely is. I don't know. I still say I'm going to go down with the top 3 picks in this draft. Going to be Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields.
Look at how good though Fields looks in a Patriots uniform, man. Look at him. Looking on the field, it's ready to drive down. God, he looks good, doesn't he?
It's impressive.
Man.
Yeah.
Not from my standpoint.
I'm getting excited. I am. So to Dina's point, I don't see Pitts lasting the 6, to be quite honest. I think the Falcons are going to jump all over him if they don't go quarterback, or even maybe Cincinnati. I know everyone's pegging, the Bengals to draft a O-lineman. But, boy, I'll tell you what, they got wide receivers there. Now imagine giving, that type of tight end to Joe Burrow. Or do you, pair him with Chase again?
What is the status of Burrow? Has anybody heard anything in the offseason? How's he coming along with his rehab?
So supposedly he's on a timeline to start as the season starts.
Oh, really?
So I'm reading that as at least being able to work out when the season starts. They haven't said if he's going to be able to play yet. Okay. So
yeah.
Well, there's no chance they go QB then.
No.
I mean, I don't think so. But God, can you imagine?
That's what I was saying. I haven't heard anything about him. There's been no talk.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering if you had heard whether or not he's on track to start the season or not.
I think it's interesting how all this conversation is also changing to Cincinnati not taking Sewell.
No lineman.
I can't understand how we went from like they've got to protect Joe Burrow at all costs to maybe it's Chase, maybe it's Pitts. Like, wait, what happened? Like, what happened to at all costs? We keep our
I think if
Burrow
Burrow's healthy and he's going to be back, then yes, I think they have to get him protection. It's not about getting him an offensive
He doesn't need
weapon.
weapons.
No,
they've got weapons there.
Mm-hmm.
They've got.
You can never have enough.
You can't, but it doesn't matter if he's not on the field.
I know. That's why. I mean, don't get me wrong. The smart pick is either him or the kid from Northwestern. One of the two.
Yeah.
Either or. I mean, I don't think you'll lose, but they have to do that.
If Atlanta trades out, if let's say if Lance goes 3 to the 49ers, somebody is jumping up to get Fields or Mac Jones at 4, right? I mean,
Mac Jones, I don't know. I think Fields. I think somebody would trade up for Fields before Mac Jones.
You think so?
That's just my
So you think Denver jumps up, or do you think the 49ers pick up the phone, or the Patriots pick up the phone and say, "Hey, what do you want for 4? We want Fields." Right? I mean, and if that happens,
I hope so.
If that happens, Pitts could be there at 6. If Bengals go protection at 5. The Dolphins have their pick of the litter for offensive weapons at that point. They can go Chase, they can go Pitts, they can go anybody, which sucks. I wish they would have stayed at 12. I really wish they would have stayed at 12. I liked them better picking at 12.
For both of you.
Yeah, I know.
God.
The Finns have a great problem. I mean, they're going to arguably be, tight end, one of the best wide receivers in the draft. Yeah. I mean, you really one of the best 3 wide receivers in the draft, which I think Chase is by far the best. But again, he didn't play last year. So again, you're taking a risk there too. You really are.
Yeah, but the year before that, he puts up 1,700 yards and
20 touchdowns.
20 touchdowns. Like,
it was sick.
That's ungodly. Like they forget about how those numbers. But
who threw it to him? Joe Burrow. That's why can you count that out, man? Can you count that out?
You can't, but if he's not on the field, then it doesn't matter than the backup's throwing. So
and they haven't really addressed the O-line either. So Sketchy, I hope you're right, but not. Oh, you're talking about for Atlanta. Yeah.
Atlanta. Yep.
That's
not the blanks.
Yeah.
Look at this as a bet. There's the first bet of the show tonight. Look at this.
Oh, please.
Dina, I'm not going to ask your age because it's rude, but unless you and Joe plan on living to like 130 years old, are we really going to put this bet in?
No, I would need like a 10-year. I'd need like a 10-year.
10?
Yeah.
Jimmy said 10.
What's going to happen in 10 years?
Look at how far the Dolphins are right now ahead of talent-wise and situation-wise in the Jets. So, I mean, to say, you'd have to give me like 10 years as an under or as a point a year spread, basically.
I bet
there you go,
Tyler. I bet
that would probably be a good bet.
Man, Tyler is really working on getting banned by the moderators here.
I love it. I love it.
2 more before the Jets win 1.
No way. Come on. How much longer does Bill have?
Look. I mean, you guys talk about winning Super Bowls. So you're talking about 100 years you have left. So Bill has at least 50 then.
Oh, Jesus. All right. So let's transition over to this. Let's talk about what the Patriots draft plans are going to be. I mean, like we talked about in the opening, the quarterback situation has been, I've seen. So add anything I missed to this, John, please. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson. We've had the Ryan Fitzpatrick talk, Teddy Bridgewater. I think that's all in the NFL, Darnold, right? And then
Jameis Winston,
Darnold,
Sam Darnold.
Yep, Winston. And then we've had
Dalton,
Lance,
Andy
Fields,
Dalton,
Andy Dalton,
Jones,
Kyle Trask, Jones. Yeah, did we miss any football players left at the quarterback
Joe
position?
Montana, Dan Marino,
Yeah,
Kenny Stabler, Warren Moon.
They're all going.
Randall
Warren
Cunningham,
Moon. Great spiral.
I mean,
Warren
every
Moon.
core. I can't stand
Uncle
reading
Rico,
it anymore. Uncle Rico, right? That one I could almost believe. I mean, he could throw over the mountain. So
that's
good.
Right.
So, that's so why not? Yep.
That was when he was younger, though.
So now where?
True,
so
true.
So I think the three of us. I mean, Sketchy made some good points there for Lance and kind of opened that door, cracked that door back open to make me believe that there's a possibility that happens. But I'm still going to say, if I'm the GM, and I think we all say it, if we're the GMs of the 49ers, Justin Fields is the pick at 3. If he's
absolutely
there, right.
Absolutely.
So with that, with all of those quarterbacks that we talked about that are in the NFL now off the board, and we don't know what's going on with Watson. That's a whole thing that might turn into him not being a football player anymore. But otherwise, you now have Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and Justin Fields off the board. All NFL quarterbacks are not being traded, unless you can manipulate Jimmy G away at the pro day. But
we won't assume that.
If you're not assuming that, you're now sitting there with Trey Lance, with Mac Jones, and that's really the end of your first round talent at 15. What are the Patriots doing in the draft?
So I got a couple scenarios. Okay. Say this does play out the way you just said it. They stay at 15. I see him going linebacker. A Jamie Collins type, and that kid from Penn State. I hate to jump I hate to jump on all the mock drafts I'm seeing. But what's his name? Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
Man, he's a cover linebacker. He's somebody that the Pats haven't had since Jamie Collins left, and then came back again, and then left again. So I think he'd be fine. Hightower's 31 years old. They have gotten a little bit younger, but not enough. But I think he would be such a difference maker. It looks like they're going back to the 3-4 again, and maybe playing around with the 4-3 as well. But, I mean, Micah Parsons would make sense. Cornerback, I don't know who's going to be left there. The kid from South Carolina, what is it, JC? I don't have it up in front of me.
Oh, cornerback?
Yeah.
JC
Horn, thank you. I could see that if they trade Gilmore. But again, it looks like Gilmore's still playing. He's still he hasn't said a word about anything, because Patriots players know when you talk, you walk. So, so he's not stupid. He likes Belichick. Belichick likes him. So I don't see him, forcing his way out of New England. But I also don't see him playing for $7 million to $8 million this year. So J.C. Jackson still hasn't signed. They put a second round tender on him. Nobody's even made him an offer yet. So that leads me to believe the Patriots can probably bring him back, probably a little bit more than the market was going to do. But again, I think that will be after the draft. Because I think if they can get J.C. Jackson in the draft, I mean, who knows? They may not want him back.
Yeah.
But I thought he was a great compliment to opposite of Gilmore. To me, he really was. What do you have? 9 interceptions last year. So he has a feel for the ball, that's for sure. But let me throw in a but now. And I didn't think about this until Edelman retired. So do I see the Pats trading up to 4 or 5 if Atlanta doesn't go quarterback? Say they don't. Let me throw this scenario in. Say they don't. Say Fields is there. Do I see him making a push? Maybe. So I had to look it up because I can only remember one time when they traded up in the first round. And that time I remember was they traded up for Hightower and Chandler Jones in 2012, I want to say. That was the only time I could remember. Another time they traded up for Daniel Graham. What was the other one? And the other one for Ty Warren, I think, back in like 202, 203. So I had to look that up. I knew the Hightower and the Chandler Jones one, which worked out. I mean, they got
those two
studs.
worked out. Yeah.
And if Chandler Jones didn't smoke some of that synthetic weed and walk around naked down in Connecticut. He'd still be in the New England Patriots. But it just didn't work out. Like I said, you talk, you walk, man. You got to go. So do I see him trading up for Fields? Nobody knows, but I hope so. I mean, I hope that Belichick would appreciate that talent the way I do. I've been trying to text him all week to just get an idea, but he doesn't return my text. So it's a little heartbreaking.
He's out on his boat.
Yep.
He's out on his boat. What I could also see too, will Waddle be there? Will Smith be there? Chase is obviously going to be gone. Pitts is going to be gone. Patriots need a slot guy now.
You talking about at 15?
Yeah. I don't think they'll be there, to be quite honest. But do I see him trading up maybe to maybe 11 to the Giants? They got for the longest time they were trading up to 11 to get Waddle. You know what I mean? But quite honestly, if I were the Giants, I would take Waddle or Smith. Yeah. I don't care that you just signed what's his face from Detroit. I don't care. Right. I mean, again, put all the talent in the world around that team and then go from there for Daniel Jones, because then you know what you have. So to me, the Belichick pick would be defense, linebacker. I hate to even say this, but Cam Newton, Bill Belichick loves. He loves the guy.
Yeah, but for how much longer? For how much longer?
For at least next year.
But then what do you do?
I agree. Well, I think they're going to go quarterback in the later rounds, to be quite honest. That's what I truly think. I don't
to be the franchise quarterback.
Well, I mean, they've done it with everybody. So I mean, they've never gone
saying,
one.
If you
really.
have the chance, if you got the chance to move up and get a guy that's going to be your guy for the next 10 years, you got to at least make the call.
Oh, Jim, I agree.
You can't just sit there and say, "Well, we'll get a weapon for Cam who can't throw." No.
But does Belichick feel that Fields, if he's there, or Matt Jones is worth those picks? I don't know. I mean, we passed on Lamar Jackson a few years ago to draft Sony Michel.
Yeah, that worked out.
Well, the whole league, 28 other players in the league, teams in the league also passed on Lamar Jackson. So
they did, but
nine teams let Patrick Mahomes go before Kansas City traded up to get him. So
that's why
you never know.
No, you don't. And I don't know how Belichick feels about Fields, but I know I personally would love to see it. If they have to give up 3 number ones, then take the chance. But do I see Belichick giving up that type of draft capital in the future? No, that's not his style. But you know what isn't his style? Signing free agents that total friggin' $180 million or whatever the hell it was. So this may be something out of the box draft time. He may pull something out.
He seems all in. He seems
does.
all in to win whatever it takes. So if it's whatever it takes, he's giving up the next 2 first-round picks to move up and get Fields.
Why not?
4?
Why not?
You don't think he wants to play TB12 in the Super Bowl?
Well, we're playing him next year at home,
especially when the guy that retired buys a house in Tampa in 2 months, and then all of a sudden pulls a Gronk, and guess who he's playing for?
Mm-hmm.
He may.
No,
I don't know. He may.
That's
probably why the Patriots released him. That's probably why they released him.
Of course it is. He's going to go down there and play on the All-Star team.
Man,
not next year. Not next year.
How does that not irk Belichick to let Brady walk, and then Gronk is like, "Oh, you know what? I'm ready to come play football again, but not for you, Bill. Hasta luego. I'm heading south, and not only play 1 year, but come back and play again. Like you were retired,
win a Super Bowl, and win
a Super Bowl. Like that has gotta irk Bill something fierce. I mean, how could it not?
I'm sure it did for Brady, but I bet for Gronk he wasn't too pissed off. I bet for Gronk.
I think it'd be the opposite way. Like they let Brady walk, but Gronk quit that team, sat out, and then came back when he had the opportunity to play with Brady on a different team, but not come back to play with Bill or play for Bill. Like that to me, that would sting more than the team letting Brady walk. Like Gronk said, "I'm done with football," but what he actually meant was, "I'm done with you, Bill. I'm waiting for a better opportunity. That's got to hurt. That has got to hurt.
I mean, I'm sure it does, but and
it's no napkin on a desk, but it's got to hurt. I mean,
true.
It's got to hurt the fans too. What about the fans? It's got to hurt, especially if Edelman retires. Okay, maybe he did fail the physical, whatever. But if he's all of a sudden able to wear some kind of brace and be productive next year in Tampa, and maybe it is. What is he? 34? Was that what it was? So
I believe so. Yes, 34.
36? I don't know.
Not likely.
Does he come back for 1 year? No.
Not
I mean,
likely.
he's not.
It's not like Gronk left hurt. He really wasn't hurt. He did,
but he was beat up. His body was beat up.
Yeah, he was beat up. Yeah. Now Edelman, 35. He's taken much different punishment than Gronk has because Gronk 6'5", friggin', 275. He was putting licks on people.
Yeah.
Edelman's not putting licks on people at 5'11", 180.
No.
The guy was he was rock solid, but my God, there was cornerbacks that were bigger than him.
Yeah.
So again, not taking his toughness away. I just think Edelman took a lot more devastating hits than Gronk did. Much devastating than Gronk.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I don't see. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's going to come back." I don't see it, man. So
plus,
you're
he's a
telling
little
me
guy. He's a little guy, and he got hit a lot.
That's what I mean. He was getting destroyed, and so he's going to sit out this year because of injury, and then come back at 35, 36.
Yeah.
I don't see it, man. I think Edelman's done for good. Probably,
it's hard to play wide receiver in your mid to late 30s. I mean, you don't see it.
No, you don't. And then look at Wes Welker, how he finished. I mean, the poor guy was getting concussion after concussion.
That's right.
Hopefully he's called Welker and been like, "Hey man, what should I do?" And Welker's probably like, "Get the hell out of Dodge while you can."
He's probably like, "Who are you? I don't know who you are."
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed, Alex.
So let me back to the draft. If we go, if you're sitting there at 15, and Mac Jones is still there, are they jumping?
Yes. Yeah.
You think so, Jim?
If 15 comes and Mac Jones is still available, you don't think they take Jones?
I hope not. I don't want Jones.
How could you pass? No. How could you pass that? How can you pass that?
You've got Cam Newton and nothing.
Look,
right.
No other options.
So if that's the case, so everybody thinks that if Mac Jones would come in and be a day one starter?
No, he sits behind Cam for a year. Then you let Cam go, and he takes over.
Look, I'm not a Jones fan. I told you this before. Those stats are so inflated, man. They're so inflated. He played on a perennial powerhouse that nobody could come close to beating. I mean, he's not going to have – hey, Brian. Oh, shit, my brother-in-law's making an appearance. What's up, Brian? How you doing, brother? I don't see them taking Mac Jones because you don't have Smith. You don't have Najee Harris. You don't have – friggin' an all-star team behind you.
How much is the difference between the all-star team that he had compared to Fields and Trevor Lawrence? I mean, he had a couple more talented players, but Fields had an outstanding wide receiver. He had Trey Sermon behind him at running back, who looked outstanding in the playoffs. A good offensive line. They've got Trevor Lawrence. He's got Travis Etienne, who is the first or second running back coming off the board in the draft. He's got Rodgers there at wide receiver. I mean, he's got weapons as well. So
was projected to be a Heisman finalist.
Yeah,
he gets hurt, and Smith comes in and wins the Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's depth. Alabama has depth, man.
I'm not saying that they don't, but it's not that drastic of a difference between those three quarterbacks and the talent that's around them.
So I don't hear any Clemson wide receiver or any Ohio State wide receiver projected in the top 10, but I hear two Bama wide receivers projected in the top 10.
Well,
I think that tells you the scale of
Ohio
offensive
State's
weapons they had.
Chris Olavo did not come out of the draft. He's going back next year. If he did, he would be a first-round draft pick, without a doubt.
Okay, but that's one wide receiver, so you can't tell me that the depth is the same there. You know, I mean, you can't tell
I'm
me.
not saying it's the depth. I'm asking you what the separation is. Like, they all have really high level talent.
They do.
Clemson had Etienne. They got Rodgers. Ohio State's got Chris Olavo, Trey Sermon. They've got great wide receiver. He's got a great wide receiver. Trevor Lawrence had an outstanding running back, and Mac Jones had a little bit of everything. 2 great wide receivers and a great running back. I don't know who their tight end is, but
doesn't matter.
But it does. But he had 3 outstanding weapons there. Yeah. But Trevor Lawrence had great weapons, not to that level, but still he had a better potentially a better running back. Depends on who sees it which way. But and Justin Fields had great wide receiver and I'm interested to see what Sermon's going to do in the NFL because he's coming out. But they're saying third, fourth round pick.
Fourth round pick. Yeah.
God dang, he looked good in the playoffs. So I mean, he was just barreling people over. So. Yes, I'm not arguing and saying that these guys are all equal, but I'm saying like it's not Mac Jones's talent level and then everybody else. Like, I mean, they had some weapons. It's not BYU's offense that they were operating talent level. So is Jones that? You know what I'm trying to say here?
Yes. I just don't trust it. I do not trust it.
Like, I mean, if you're good with Fields, why are you not good with Jones?
Why am I good with Fields?
If you're good with taking Fields, no matter what, if he was there, you're not okay with taking Jones at 15 if he falls and it doesn't cost you anything.
But it does. It's going to cost us a linebacker that could probably, start day one. I'm not sold on Matt Jones. Fields has a better arm. He's mobile. Maybe he doesn't have the quick reads that Jones has, but how many times did Jones have to have quick reads? You know what I mean? That all of his guys are open all the time. I mean, he was throwing wide open passes to Smith, and he turns and runs downfield for 75 yards because nobody can catch him.
Yeah.
I just don't trust Bama quarterbacks. And at 15, honestly, if I was
picking, you trust Ohio State quarterbacks. They're just as bad.
I trust Justin Fields. Justin Fields. That's all. I trust Justin Fields. I have since the beginning. Since the beginning of the year, I think I was talking about Fields. Yeah. So
your man crush is well documented, and
it is, but
it is unwavering, and I appreciate your dedication to this man.
I'm not one of those believers that think someone's stock should fall after they played and 2 playoff games pretty damn good, and then somehow a guy from North Dakota State who didn't play last year catapults him. I don't get it. I don't understand what is going on. But like I said, I think Fields should go third. If he doesn't, I hope to God Bill Belichick calls and says, "What do you want? Do you want a Super Bowl ring that has 283 diamonds in it the year we beat you? Because we'll send you one of them too." I don't know if you guys knew that. The Super Bowl ring has 283 diamonds in it. But anyways,
that's good. So then, all right. So let's circle this back again. Mac Jones is sitting there at 15. You leave him on the board to take probably best defensive player available at that point.
So
probably it's going to be between a linebacker, cornerback type of.
I don't think Mac Jones will make it to 15. I think Denver would take him because they are desperate. They're probably more desperate than New England.
If Lance goes 3, like Sketchy's saying, then Denver takes Fields at 4 or at 8, and then there's nobody between Denver and you that needs a quarterback now, which is why I'm saying Mac could be sitting there at 15.
There'll be a surprise team on draft day that makes a push for somebody. There always is.
Probably will, but look at last year's. You had 3 wide receivers that were supposed to go in the top 10, and none of them did.
Yeah.
Right? Like CD, Judy, and Ruggs were all supposed to be, high first round pick guys, and they didn't go till the middle of the first round.
Yeah.
So and Ruggs ended up being the first one. Yeah. So
in reality, though, what's that?
Let's say if Jones is there at 15, and you could just take him, you could just pluck him off the top of the anthill. What are you going to do? Are you going to go with Kyle Trask in the middle of the second round and hope he's there, or potentially have to trade up to get a quarterback there? Because you have to get you have nothing behind Cam, you have to get a quarterback in this draft.
Yeah. So thinking about it now a little bit more after I'm listening to John, if they do bring in one of the quarterbacks, who's he throwing to? I mean, so you guys aren't a quarterback away from going anywhere. So the quarterback's really not the what? You're going to dispute that? Are you going to tell me you plug in a
not next year, no.
quarterback and
not
you guys are going to take off? No.
Not
so you are many pieces away from
I wouldn't
competing.
say many, Jim. I wouldn't say many.
How about multiple?
Many?
How about multiple?
Many.
We're like multiple better?
With Cam next year.
What's
we're
that?
winning 10 games with Cam next year. I already said that. Come on, of course we are. Of course we are.
Everybody knows that's not
we
true.
won 7 with Jacoby Myers as our number 1. We'll be just fine next year.
So in reality, you need other pieces, really. So you need a quarterback plus. You need a quarterback because Cam's not the answer. And, hopefully he makes it through next season. But yeah, you need receivers. You need tight end. You need
We don't need
everything.
tight ends. We just signed 2.
Okay.
We just signed.
So you're all set.
Yeah.
That's right.
I hope so after spending a lot of money like that. I hope so.
But I mean,
honestly,
you need other positions too. You need defense help. Yeah.
We do.
Yep. So you're not one player away.
No, and we need O-line help too. We need cornerback, especially if Gilmore goes. So that's why.
Then it kind of makes sense. Do you leave him? Or do you? So do you trade out of that? Does somebody at 15 want Jones if he's still there, and you take the trade out?
I mean, I could see that.
Bears,
somebody like Detroit,
Washington,
Detroit. I mean, Washington's picking at 19. I can see them
Detroit
moving up.
Got Goff. You think they're going?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you never know. I mean, Goff was struggling.
Detroit's picking ahead anyway, so they would.
True.
Yeah, they would. That would they'd take him if that was the case. But Washington, who's Washington got behind?
Washington at 19 or 18
behind Fitzmagic.
So that's what I mean. There's going to be a team that comes up. I mean, what about New Orleans? What if New Orleans thinks Fields or one of these guys is all that?
That would cost a lot.
I mean, it would cost a whole lot. But I mean, I'm just throwing out there that there's teams that will jump up. I mean, who thought Green Bay was going to draft a quarterback last year? No one.
Mm-hmm.
Probably including Green Bay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know
they fell in love with him.
I mean, the starter was Aaron Rodgers. I mean, you're going
to see that coming.
Is that a new guy? Just came in the league.
Are you getting me a new toy to play with? Oh, you're getting my replacement?
Oh,
wait
cool.
a minute. What the hell is this? Oh, Heineke. Yeah, that's right.
Washington does have Heineke.
Yeah, one game audition for a guy who was selling shells in a grocery store.
They signed him, didn't they? They signed him,
and that's great. But you're gonna mortgage the future on a guy that came in and had one successful game with no scouting on him whatsoever.
No.
Like, come on.
And Fitzmagic isn't going to be
call the
Super Bowl
Seahawks.
champion there.
No, call the Seahawks and see how that worked out when they signed Matt Flynn to that huge deal before they signed Russell Wilson or drafted Russell Wilson because he had 2 huge games in Green Bay when nobody knew who he was.
And one was against the Patriots too.
No, when he had 500 yards passing.
Yeah, on a Sunday night game, man. I went to that game and Patriots won, but I'm like, so now I got to watch Matt Flynn, and he starts roasting New England. I'm like, oh shit, who's this Matt Flynn guy? I want to say Matt Flynn went to Boston College, so I knew who he was. But it was just like, come on, man. But yeah, I mean, he got a huge contract. Seattle drafted Wilson in the 3rd round, and rest is history. He beat him out in preseason. Yep. Things like that do happen. You just have to have the balls to make that call. And Pete Carroll was not afraid to make that call.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. He hit the jackpot there. That's for sure.
Did.
But you got to do it. And man, Sketchy, I'll tell you what, man, being a ASU guy, I wanted Brandon Ayuk so bad. I just knew where the Jets were drafting, I knew that wasn't going to happen. He wasn't good enough to go that high, but man, I knew he was going to be good, but I also thought N'Keal Harry was going to be awesome too, and that didn't work out too well. But Ayuk looks like he's going to be a weapon for Justin Fields to be playing with there for quite a while. He looks good. He looks really good. So
he's in the right offense too. You know, he really is. He's in the right offense.
Oh, he's explosive as hell. So.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yep. That's looking good. So, all right. So what you're saying is from Patriots position, you're the GM of the Patriots. You are not taking a first round quarterback for the New England Patriots. And you are addressing this with a second to third tier quarterback later in the draft.
If Jones is there, I don't want Jones. So, yes, I would rather go Micah Parsons, cornerback, somebody like that, to be quite honest.
And then who are you targeting then? Who are you targeting as a quarterback coming out of this draft?
Like I said, I think in the second round, you can look at Trask. You can look at the kid from A&M. I mean, there's projects out there. You know what I mean? I mean, the only quarterback that ever worked out for us that really was drafted in the first round was Bledsoe. He was taking one, and Tony Easton back in the draft class with Kenny O'Brien and Dan Marino and Jim Kelly. And Tony Easton wasn't that great, but he was good, you know, but he was taken in the first round. But those are really the only two quarterbacks I can ever remember. I mean, unless you count Jim Plunkett. He didn't really stay with us that long. He ended up going to Oakland. So I just don't see Bill going that way. Or, you know what, maybe he does. Maybe, I mean, Joe, you said it before, you know, and that's what scares me. I'm going to agree with you here. He is the Patriots type of quarterback.
This doesn't happen often.
But I just don't like him in the NFL. I don't like him unless we also draft Smith. You know what I mean? It's like it has to be a match deal. No, I mean, that's what I mean. But does Bill Belichick probably like him? And I think I said this a couple shows back. The guy has his master's degree in 4 years. He's a smart guy. He's been there forever. You know, he didn't come out early. He waited his turn. That's what Belichick likes, and that's frightening for me. It's frightening for me.
Sounds like he's selling it.
Oh, I'm not selling anything. If he called me up on draft night at 15 and he goes, JB, what do you think we do here at 15? And I'm like, Bill, first off, I'm eating the steak tip salad right now, man. You need to relax a little bit. And two, you need to draft a linebacker.
And you need to not call me when we're on the clock. I need a little bit more heads up than this, so I'm ready because we're live and this is awkward right now. So,
and Bill, it's John when I'm on my show. It's not JB. You don't get away with it.
Yeah, right. Show a little respect.
No, but I mean, is he the Patriot type? Is he the Patriot type player? Yes. Does Belichick and Saban? I mean, do they talk a lot? Oh my God, yes, they do. I mean, look at the Bama players. You know, Belichick loves Bama and Rutgers players.
Yeah. Yep. I think this is
that's right. How much longer is Belichick even going to be there? Right. I mean, it's
but who's to say whoever they draft is even worth a shit next year? I mean, what if the plan is to go after Jimmy G next year? So say everything does transpire, right? Say everything does. San Francisco takes their quarterback. They build for the future. He sits all year this year. You think they're keeping Jimmy G next year? There you go.
So they're going to pass on a draft guy to take Jimmy G, who is not guaranteed.
It would be less development.
He's often hurt. I mean, you already had him. If you wanted him so bad, you should have kept him.
Yeah.
Bill did want him.
Your heart
Bill
is set
didn't want to trade him.
Your heart is set on getting back a player.
He didn't have enough juice to say no, we're not trading him.
Kraft wasn't getting rid of Brady. That's why there was the rift came out between Brady and Belichick. Kraft wanted Jimmy G. Period. Dot. That was his guy. I don't know.
Man, I mean, you're talking about you want a guy that a team just gave up the next 2 first-round picks to find a replacement for.
Yeah.
And this is the guy that you're like, this is where we need to go. It's exactly what Carolina did with Sam. Except for Sam's way younger and has actual potential to turn around. Jimmy G is...
Yeah, but Jimmy G's played there already. He knows the offense. It's plug and play. He's a game manager. On the Patriots, he doesn't have to be the man. He just has to be able to throw a ball.
How many games did he play for the Patriots?
God, I can't remember. Not many.
2?
2 or 3.
And he was hurt for 2 of them?
Well, no, he was hurt.
He got hurt. He was supposed to start the 4 games for Tom.
Yeah, he got hurt.
He played 2, got hurt, and then Brissett came in.
Jacoby Brissett came in
and went 1-1, right?
Yeah.
So I think Jimmy went 2-0, and then
Yeah.
he got hurt. Brissett came in, went 1-1. Then Jimmy goes to San Francisco. He gets hurt every single year. And then you want to bring him back as the savior of the team. Like, he can't stay on the field. He's like, it's exactly what I said about Sam Darnold. Every year he's hurt. Like, you can't win a game if the quarterback's not there.
Idea. I'm just saying that's what I think Belichick will do because he's plug and play.
But
if healthy,
you got to do something better than that. You can't get through. You can't get through with Cam this year. Okay, we'll grab Cam next year. Okay, we'll grab Jimmy G for 2 years. Okay, we'll grab Ryan Fitzpatrick for a year.
Yes.
Okay, now we'll grab.
And then he went to a Super Bowl, Alex, too. That's what I mean. Jimmy G on the field, he's a damn good quarterback. Damn good quarterback.
On the field.
I mean, right.
When he's on the field.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Again, I don't love that idea.
Now he's a couple years older, couple more injuries. Yeah.
But I think I also said this. I think I also said Jimmy G will be back in New England.
You did.
I did say that too.
You've been saying that.
He's going to end up there. Belichick loves the guy. I mean, why else would they be keeping what's his face as the offensive coordinator? They're waiting.
I am all for it. I am all for Jimmy G coming back to New England because then I don't have to worry about anything. It's just figuring out who your backup is that we're going to see twice a year because he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, history does repeat itself with Jimmy G. I'm not going to deny.
Well, in the NFL, once you start getting hurt, you usually continue to get hurt. Like a freak injury is one thing, but
it's true.
It's every year. And that's what. Same thing with Sam. Every year, it's something. It's a foot. It's a hand. It's mono. Which that one, I get it. All he has to do is stop making out with floozies in the bar. But outside of that, there's a trend though. 3 years. 3 years of missed game time. Same with Jimmy G. When's the last time he played a full season? Has he ever?
I don't know. Let's take a look, man.
I don't think he has.
So while you're looking at that, who is the backup now? Is Stidham still the backup on the team?
Stidham is the backup, yes. And he looks great, they said.
Yeah.
He looks so great that he didn't play at all last year. That's how great he looked.
So good you couldn't get on the field. Congratulations. When Cam couldn't throw the ball for 100 yards in a game.
No, didn't he get in that one game, him and Hoyer? Then they both play that one game.
Yeah, and they both look terrible.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So let's see. When has he played a full season?
That search is going to take a long time.
Stats is pretty easy. 2019, he played the whole season, threw 27 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. They went to the Super Bowl that year. They went 13-3, QBR of 60. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Isn't that when he 60. Didn't start all the games, though?
It says game started 16.
Okay.
Game started 16. Year before that. So I didn't realize this. For San Francisco, though, he started 8 games combined the 2 years prior, and he was 6-2. He was 2-0 with New England, 13-3 with San Francisco in 2019, and 3-3 last year. So, does he have a history of getting hurt? He sure does. Would it scare me if he came to the Pats? It would. It would frighten me a little bit. But that's just what I think they're going to do. I think Bill's pushing for that. What would I like?
Well, they had a killer defense too.
They did.
Yes.
They did. I mean, he threw 14 more touchdowns than interceptions, so it's not like his stats were off the charts.
Yeah.
But I mean,
and didn't like Carlos Hyde have like 800 yards rushing in the playoffs or something like that?
There was that playoff game where Jimmy G, I think, threw like 7 passes, didn't he? And they ran the ball the whole game.
Yeah. He was Carlos Hyde was like unstoppable in like 2 of those games. Was just like 200 yards, I think, in both games.
Well, I thought it was like 3 running backs that one game where they just friggin' ran the ball for like 300 and something yards, I thought. And Jimmy G, I think, literally threw 7 or 8 times, if I remember right, because it was insane, that running game. Let's see.
Let me try and look that up real quick. It was 2019.
Yeah.
So they had 186 rushing yards in the division, conference championship, 285 yards in the Super Bowl, 141 yards. 2 touchdowns in the first, somehow no rushing touchdowns in the 285-yard game. I don't know how that happens.
It was 2019 against Green Bay. They won 37-20. He threw 8 passes.
And they had 285 yards rushing.
So the best game he had, actually, he really didn't play well at all.
Like I said, let's push for this trade to happen.
Here? Come on.
But he's a game manager, baby. Look, I'm just saying, I would rather them wait to the second or third round and draft Trask.
Okay.
Watch videos on Trask from Florida.
You
want to trade up?
There they go.
You want to trade up? Trade up in the second round to somebody. Probably, I mean, the Jets won't be drafting a quarterback. Jags won't be drafting. Probably the top 6 picks in the second round. No one's taking another quarterback. So you could probably get Trask, somewhere, whoever's drafting 7. Who's after Miami? Carolina, or are they at 8? I should have known this. I've looked at 4,000 mock drafts in the past month. But,
I usually just skip through that between the Jets and the Giants. I just kind of I scroll through that real quick.
Denver, Carolina's in there.
Carlos, I didn't, but I hope nobody else knows that but New England about him acing that test, because
I don't know what this.
Look
what
at how
this,
good. Wrong way. Look at how
what
good
is the
he
Goldman?
looks, man.
What is this Goldman test? Is that different than the Wonderlic test? Is that like a new? Is that a new test? I've never heard of the Goldman test. It's always been the one. It's always been the Wonderlic test.
Let's see, Goldman test.
What is this one? Is
measure patient sensitivity to differential light within their vision field by displacing objects to the patient and measuring their response to them. So it's response time. So it's brain to eye time is what it is.
Oh, that's important.
I never heard that before.
I don't
Pretty
either,
new.
but
yeah.
Goldman perimeter is a hollow white spherical bowl positioned to set a distance in front of the patient.
Is this just for quarterbacks? What is this for?
I don't know. How do you put weight to that? How do you say like what? Because everybody's not doing it, right? Athletic IQ. Well, that's different than just.
So is that? Because I'm reading the Goldman test is a vision test.
I don't know. I think it's completely made up and full of shit because I've never heard of this.
Look, I Googled it. It's there. It's real. Okay,
well, but it doesn't sound like you're describing the same thing.
I mean, I just Googled it. I didn't know really what it was.
I think it's.
So how many guys have taken it? Only Fields?
Yeah, right. He's done really good.
He's the baseline, baby. He's the baseline.
Nothing to measure against. Perfect.
Yeah, nothing to measure against. Yeah. It's a immeasurable test, and he's number 1. Good. No, Joe. I don't know, man. If Jones is there, does Belichick take him? Maybe. I don't know. I just see him drafting a defensive player instead. That's just me.
Okay.
But I don't know. We'll see. And then what do we do from there? I don't know. Pray to the quarterback gods that whoever we take from Northern Wichita State in the 6th round turns into the next Tom Brady. In fact, is there a Northern Wichita State? I don't even know.
Should be.
Yeah. I think they're the Rambling Wreck. No,
literally the Rambling Wreck.
I might be wrong. I'm not.
Yeah. No, so I'm sorry. I'm reading through this story that Alex is talking about with Mark Sanchez coming on the Pat McAfee show, and again, Mark Sanchez. So, yeah, he's like, bro, he was 130. So this kid can learn. Essentially, it would equate to an average playbook that's not that complicated. So 130 equates to an average playbook that's not that complicated. He also says that Patrick Mahomes was like a 108 and Josh Allen was like a 108, and 100 is good. So if 130 can essentially equate to learning an average playbook, how in God's name is Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen at a 108 doing so well?
Yeah, I don't.
that and that's and
Might
that
be
says
time
it's
to
in the
rethink that test.
that's in the top 1% Justin Fields scored. In the
Wow.
in the top 1%, and it's good enough to get in. It would equate to like an average playbook. That's not that complicated. He'd learn it faster than anybody. Okay. Like I don't need him to learn it faster than everybody. I need him to be able to learn it and execute it. Like that's a ridiculous test. So all right. So let's wrap it up with this.
Yep.
So you're saying, and this is going to go, we're going to circle back to this again on draft night too, and I can't wait to see what happens. But what you're saying, no Mac Jones at any cost.
Nope.
We're going.
Nope.
So you're looking linebacker, and you're looking
if we stay at 15.
cornerback.
If we stay at 15.
Okay. All right. So,
Yep,
so
I would say
Patriots,
defense, unless there's like Waddle still there, which I don't see him or Smith. There's no way that's happening. Because I think that'd be the perfect slot guy for somebody in New England, but I'm going more than likely defense. I see defense at 15.
Okay. So 15 will be defense unless Fields falls and your guys are trading up.
I mean, unless we trade up, yeah, but I'm going flat. I'm not going to predict a trade up and nothing like that. I just think at 15, I would say defense, Micah Parsons, again, the kid from South Carolina, the cornerback from South Carolina, somebody like that. I don't see an O-lineman being around there or, hey, you know what? I mean, the Patriots took Logan Mankins in the first round back in like whatever it was, 94, I think. And he turned out to be one hell of a friggin' O-lineman out of like Youngstown State or some crazy shit. And everyone's like, who the hell's Logan Mankins? Oh, just a Pro Bowl offensive lineman. So, you know what? That stuff doesn't surprise me.
Perennial.
Yes.
Yeah, that worked out nicely. So, all right. So I need to look more into this athletic IQ Goldman test because I think it's completely embellished, but we'll see. So I'm gonna look into this more this week and try and figure out what it is, why I've never heard of it before until Justin Fields acing it, and then
what's that?
Garbage.
What's that behind me? Here.
I don't know.
Oh, look! It took him right out of the show.
Banned.
I wanted to save that. I wanted to save the best for last. And real quick, NFL ticker: Thaddeus Moss just signed with the Cincinnati Bengals. He was undrafted last year, I want to say, and then hurt. And Giovanni Bernard is the newest member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm telling you, man, people take pay cuts to play with Brady. It's awful, but it happens.
They don't even need a running back.
They don't, but you know what? The more the merrier, man.
That's insane.
The more the merrier. I love it. I love it.
All right. So, yeah, guys, thank you for participating. Thank you for taking part in the show. Please hit that subscribe button. I talk about those stats, but man, it's so crazy when you look when I look at how many people are watching that are not subscribed as opposed to subscribed. It's always 70% not subscribed or more, which is crazy.
Why don't you send a tutorial on how to subscribe? Maybe they need a little Gmail account.
Click red button.
Right.
Set it to all. So no, but please subscribe. We're sitting at 69, which is a number that I'm not opposed to, but in this case, we want it to keep going higher. So let's break through that. Keep pushing to 100. I know we're getting there. We're getting new eyes every week, and I thank you guys all for taking part in it. But please hit that subscribe button, help us keep growing. And also, again, reminder to please, if you want to be on the show for the draft show, get in touch, drop us a line, give me your email address so we can get that lined up because it's coming up fast. So,
Alex, I didn't. But I'll tell you what, I'll look at it for Thursday. How about that? Let's talk about that first thing Thursday.
Yep.
I want to talk about that. And then I don't know if you guys watched, but while you're looking things up, did you look up the ending of last night's Sunday night baseball game between the Phillies and Braves? No. That was replayed and still gotten wrong. Go back and check that out. Alex Bohm scores the winning run. The umpire is standing over home plate, like looking straight down almost at it. Replay missed it. He never touched, which, I mean, it works for me. I got to run in fantasy because I have Alex Bone, but his foot never touched home. Never touched home. They called him safe, even on the replay. Insane.
Right.
But yeah, completely missed it. So definitely want to get your guys' opinions on that. We'll check out what's going on with the Royals in the 10th. We'll see. I'm guessing, since Alex watches the show, that somebody bunted.
I'm guessing he's a fan.
So.
I'm guessing he's a fan of that new rule that I am.
Yeah.
Start the guy on second,
so.
Bunt him over, and
bunt him over the third.
Suicide squeeze and win it. Nice.
I love it. All right. So, guys, thank you again, and have a great week. We'll be back Thursday to talk about baseball. Until then, for John, for Jim, I'm Jim.